It is Super Tuesday, which means voters in more than a dozen states, including Massachusetts, are heading to the polls, but not in Rhode Island. Here with the key dates that Rhode Island voters need to know, Secretary of State Gregg Amore. Thanks for being here.
Thanks, Kim. Happy to be here.
So I know the bad news is that if people wanted to vote in the upcoming presidential preference primary in April and they haven't registered to vote, it's too late. That deadline was on Sunday.
Correct.
But if people are registered, talk us through the dates that they need to know and the different ways that they can vote.
Sure. The next key deadline is March 12th.
Okay.
And that's the application for a mail ballot deadline. So you have till 4 p.m. on March 12th to request a mail ballot. But early voting starts the next day on March 13th. And you can vote early, mostly at your city and town halls, but you should check your local canvassing board's website to see where that location is.
Yep.
And you can do that right up until April 1st. And then election day is April 2nd.
And of course, then we have the fall elections just with everybody else.
Correct. That's a regular cycle where there's a September 10th primary and a November 5th general.
So I understand we've got some younger voters who can cast their ballot in the presidential preference primary. What should people know about that?
Yeah, so the General Assembly passed a law that allowed 17-year-olds who will be 18 by the general election to vote in the primary. So Rhode Island joined 20 other states and the District of Columbia, allowing 17-year-olds to take part in the entire process rather than just a piece of it. And since that bill became law, 135 people who fit that category have registered, and we hope they'll go out and vote.
You answered my follow-up question. Only 135 17-year-olds were chomping at the bit to cast their vote?
Well, it's a small pool anyway. It's less than 1,900 that fit that category of being 17 but 18 by the general election. And so 135 registered thus far, but we have another election cycle coming up in September. So we hope that number increases. Very
interesting. Okay, I want to shift gears a little bit. You've been advocating for a brand new state archive and history center to be built adjacent to the State House. Current price tag is around $100 million. There's a lot of empty buildings, though, that could be used for this. Why not just put it into a structure that already exists?
Yeah, the previous administration, the Gorbea administration, did a whole host of studies looking at those opportunities. And what they found was it's actually more expensive to convert existing buildings because archives are unique structures. They're heavy weight bearing structures. They require unique fire suppression systems and temperature control systems. And so that work had been done on a number of sites, and it is more economical to build new.
Okay, very interesting. And we have limited time, but I wanted to just ask you quickly before you go. Nominations for the Rhode Island Civic Education Teacher of the Year Award are now open. How can people nominate someone?
So a student can nominate their favorite teacher, history teacher or civics teacher, a fellow teacher, a colleague or an administrator, and they can do so by contacting our office on our website. Go to the website, you can find that identifier, and we're going to honor that Teacher of the Year as we did last year, someone who inspires their students to be civically engaged.
And as a former history teacher yourself, you know how important that is.
I do. And these are great people doing great work, and they should be recognized.
All right, lots of ground to cover as always. Secretary of State Gregg Amore, thanks so much for being here at 4.
Thanks, Kim.